Most people fear change. They build walls around themselves. Predictable days, predictable choices, predictable lives. But there's a rare breed of people who do the opposite. They don't just tolerate uncertainty, they crave it, they need it. And what psychology is only now discovering is that these people aren't broken. They're actually operating at a higher frequency of human consciousness. People who hate routine aren't lazy or irresponsible. This is the first misconception that falls apart the moment you study the science. Research in personality psychology reveals that what looks like restlessness is actually something far more profound. It's a neurological trait called high stimulation-seeking behavior. Their brains process dopamine differently. While routine people find comfort in repetition, these individuals experience actual physical withdrawal when life becomes too predictable.
Think about what that means. Their nervous system is literally wired to reject monotony. When they're trapped in routine, they don't just feel bored, they feel suffocated. And this isn't weakness, this is adaptation. Psychologists call this trait openness to experience, and it's directly linked to creativity, innovation, and what researchers term adaptive resilience. Here's where it gets interesting. People who hate routine develop something most people never acquire. They become masters of pattern recognition. Because their minds are constantly seeking new information, new connections, new ways to see the world, they unconsciously train themselves to spot patterns that others completely miss. They see opportunities hidden in chaos. They find solutions in situations where routine-bound people only see problems. Their brains are literally wired differently, and that difference is their edge. But there's more. These people develop an extraordinary relationship with failure. Since they're constantly moving, constantly trying new things, they face rejection and setback far more often than average people. And here's the psychological breakthrough. They don't just survive failure, they integrate it. Each rejection becomes data. Each mistake becomes a story. Cognitive science shows that people with high stimulation-seeking traits have lower amygdala reactivity to negative outcomes, meaning their brains literally process fear and disappointment differently. They're less paralyzed by it. The competitive advantage extends deeper still. While others perfect one narrow skill, routine avoiders develop what's called lateral thinking, the ability to approach problems from completely unconventional angles. Their refusal to lock into one way of doing things makes them adaptable in ways that feel almost supernatural to observers. When the world changes, when industries shift, when circumstances suddenly demand flexibility, these people are already 3 steps ahead because they never committed to being rigid in the first place.
But here's the final twist, and this is what psychology textbooks rarely mention. People who hate routine often struggle with something else: commitment, depth, and the slow cultivation of mastery. The very trait that makes them innovative can trap them in a cycle of starting and abandoning. They can become professional beginners, always chasing the next high of novelty, but never building the foundation that creates genuine power and influence. So what's the hidden edge? It's this: people who hate routine have access to a superpower that few others possess. But unlike comic book superpowers, this one requires conscious channeling. The difference between someone who wastes their stimulation-seeking nature and someone who weaponizes it comes down to one thing: awareness. The moment they understand why they're wired this way, everything changes. Suddenly, their restlessness isn't a flaw to overcome, it's a compass pointing toward their highest potential. And that realization alone separates the ones who eventually soar from the ones who simply never land.